Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the HQ Sportscast, your headquarters for all things sports. I'm Lucas Quick here by Niles Hall, and it's been a minute since we've both been on the same desk filming a podcast. And the last time I recall, we closed out an episode talking about LeBron going to the Warriors, and we said, you know what? Maybe the next episode, LeBron James will be a Warrior.
But hopefully, the next time we talk, LeBron James is a Warrior.
I know you'll be thrilled about that.
Yeah,
I've
those are my two goats right there.
And that did not happen. Just on July 27th, so it's been a couple of weeks now, he signed with the Philadelphia 76ers, 2 years, $8 million. So keep in mind, LeBron made $52 million a year last season. Mm-hmm. He took a huge pay cut to join a juggernaut in the 76ers. And what's just going through your head early on now is I know it's been a few weeks since you've been able to process the signing, because I know that you were pretty ticked off about it when it happened off the bat.
I wasn't so much ticked off. I was just, as a Warriors fan's perspective, as a Warriors fan, you're frustrated. Like, obviously, the front office went all in, on LeBron this offseason. They waited. They let the whole free agency pool just dissipate, thinking LeBron James was coming. Or even if you, like, the reports that, like, they were trying to, like, PR, clean it up, saying they didn't really expect LeBron to come. If that was the truth, then why did you not do anything last month? But from LeBron's perspective, I think it was the clear win now move. I think he saw what the Sixers did getting Jaylen Brown. He saw what they have. They have young talent, including and then VJ Edgecombe, and they have Joel Embiid, who's a former MVP. And I think it was a good move for LeBron, just trying to get that last ring. A lot of people have been, like, a lot of LeBron haters that I know have been saying LeBron's ring chasing. I don't really think it's ring chasing. I think it's him trying to end his career on top. And anything LeBron, Steph, KD does at this point in their career, it doesn't affect their legacy. I don't care what anybody says. Like, one of my friends tried to tell me LeBron James isn't the GOAT anymore. He's still the GOAT. Like, he could retire today and still be the GOAT, in my opinion. That's the GOAT conversation is a conversation we can have another day. But LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think in one sense, I think that this is a form of ring chasing. And I think LeBron kind of said it without saying it fully on, like, he put on Twitter when he signed, and he pretty much said it's not about the money, it's not about family. He just wants to experience what it feels like winning one last time. Mm-hmm. And normally, like, I thrash players when they go try to ring chase. When KD went to the Warriors, like, even as a Bay Area native, like, it made sense why KD got thrashed so much about it. But LeBron's, like, in his 40s now. Like, the dude has some insane longevity. He's got 1 or 2 more years left in his career, and the Lakers were holding him back from winning another championship. And out of all the teams that were making a push to get LeBron, it was going to be clear that if you wanted to be on the best team possible, it was going to be the 76ers, because they were probably one of, like, 3 teams that had the more serious push for LeBron. And I respect, I mean, the pay cut sat wrong with me just because we could have gotten him for a really, really cheap price. Mm-hmm. But again, this dude has done everything he can accomplish in his career. Let him try to win one more ring on a loaded Philadelphia 76ers team. It's a really scary roster. I'm not sold on it fully in terms of, like, this is the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. On paper, they are, but I still think the Knicks are the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. If you take that starting 5 out of the Sixers picture, their depth is not fantastic. I like the Anthony Simons signing. I think that got under the radar a little bit. That's going to be a good signing for them. But if you take away the starting 5 and then you have Embiid and LeBron, who are very unlikely to play all 82 games, I think the Sixers will struggle with that a little bit more than people think they will. But overall, it's such a well-assembled team. Going to the Warriors front office, though, this is the thing that I don't understand, because there was a report just a few days ago saying how this is a gap year for the Warriors. But if you look, like, 2 months ago, that was the complete opposite thing that they were telling us. And that's what doesn't sit right with me is I understand it. You missed on LeBron. There was a lot of big names on this offseason that you didn't get. But you can't go and saying, oh, we're going to really swing at a superstar. We're going to load up this team to get one more ring, to now just suddenly, like, folding like a chair and saying, like, oh, you know what? Like, this year doesn't mean anything. We'll be back next year. Like, you can't go and switch up like that so quickly, especially just because you missed on LeBron James. It just seems like they threw the towel in after that.
I think that was the plan, to be honest. I think it was go in all on LeBron, because think about it. The only people that are on payroll next offseason for the Warriors are young guys. It's like Will
Hmm.
Richard, it's Guy Santos, it's Yaxel Lindeborg. Even Steph's a free agent. We'll see this month if he gets the extension and how much that is for. Like even when they re-signed Draymond, 1 year deal, they're trying to go all in on next offseason. That's what I got from for sure seeing the Draymond Green deal. I wasn't too mad about it, to be honest. I know Lucas, you said something to our group chat, like Draymond for what 26 mil again. But when you think
Yeah.
about it, it kind of was a deal with the Warriors. Probably was a handshake deal with the Warriors, talking about like, I'll take less if you guys get LeBron, and he opted out. You guys
Hmm.
couldn't get LeBron, just give me my money back. It's basically the way I saw it. Um, but for LeBron James, if the Sixers do bad, this is another thing I want to see. If the Sixers do bad, it will not be LeBron James' fault.
Hmm.
He's a fourth option, in my opinion, and he'll probably play like half the season. And if they don't win a championship, it won't be his fault. That's the way I see it, and that's the reason he kind of went there, to kind of take a little back seat. Because if he wanted, more attention, he would have came to the Warriors. And
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think he valued, the opportunity to win over the attention that he's gotten throughout his career.
Yeah, I'm happy for Philadelphia too. I mean, as an Eagles fan, I've only been to Philadelphia once, but it's exciting for those fans. I mean, they've gone through hell and back with their team, and this is the most serious chance they'll ever have at winning a title, in my opinion. Do I think they will win it? I don't think so personally, but only time can tell. I was gonna say something that blanked out. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird time for the Warriors. I was just not happy about the Draymond signing, just because I don't think Draymond's worth $28 million
I,
anymore.
I,
I
I
want
don't think
him.
he was either.
Yeah, I wanted him back on the team, and I think it's a great like kudos to Draymond for opting out so the Warriors can get someone and he can take more money. But like at the end of the day, Draymond Green's not worth $28 million on any team in the NBA, and
Yeah.
that's just kind of like why I sent that to the group chat, or I think I posted something about it too, just like the troll a little bit. Is that LeBron is making $4 a year with the 76ers, and he's an exponentially better player than Draymond is. And Draymond's making $20 more million than he is in half the seasons that LeBron's playing in his contract. So it's a weird time for the Warriors. It's just a dark time for Bay Area sports. Like just when you think it can get worse, it just somehow gets worse immediately after. We'll go deep into the topic. We have two more Bay Area sports related things later on the podcast. But I just want to talk about that real quick. But let's jump out to the NFL. It's August. The weather's heating up in the Bay Area. If you're not from the area, it always gets hotter in August, and so is the NFL season. We are approaching less than a month ago to kickoff, which I'm thrilled about. I hate this time of the year when it comes to sports because I only have the Giants right now. Baseball season's kind of
Yeah.
dull. There's nothing exciting in sports
This,
right now.
yeah,
I'm
this
ready
is
for football.
this is like the time of the sports season. I think the World Cup kind of held us over, and then
Yeah.
after the MLB trade deadline, this is like the dead period where like the teams that knew, like the Giants for say, they sold at the deadline. They're they're in their losing phase now. They're going to go all in on the tank, and the good teams are just going to take advantage of those teams. And that kind of what September is like the baseball time where it start getting competitive again. Um, but for the NFL, there's a lot of key topics. I think we'll keep it local for now, and then we'll have a couple other topics. But 49ers training camp has been going for the last 2 weeks. A lot of injuries. We could talk about the substation, that theory. But I was just at training camp today with Hattie and one of his friends, and the defense looks solid in my opinion. Mike Evans came back to practice today, which is a good sign. Dejon Stribling is a guy I think might, as wide receivers, John Lynch got a lot of hate for drafting him early, but I like the way he looks right now. I think he could have a big role in the offense early, especially with these injuries. And then there was 5 fights in the first 10 minutes of like team drills, which was I've been going to 49ers training camp every year for like the last 5 years, and I've never seen a practice like that, so it was entertaining.
Yeah, I just think it's so weird because I wanted to ask you this. Like, I'm not a Niners fan, but I know that injuries is a recurring process, and I know it was really bad last season. I don't think I've ever seen you guys get hit this hard with injuries so early into the season, which is really because again, I didn't believe in the substation theories for a while. I'm starting to believe it now because it's so weird. But like, why do you think this is happening so often and so frequently for this team? Because it just seems like more than just bad luck right now. Just I don't know. It's weird.
One thing I noted today at practice was that the 49ers, I think that's why there were so many fights today. The 49ers play with a high intensity. Um, like they're practicing with high intensity. I think that's kind of what started the fights. There was the Titans not practicing that hard as they're, that they usually practice. And that's something I know in the back of my mind. I'm like, maybe that's why we're getting injured in practice. But then also when the soft tissue injuries, like the injuries to Nick Bosa has right now with like the soreness and the pulled hamstrings, like Mike Evans' groin he had, is soft tissue injuries. And what the internet scientists have said is you know the electromagnetic field or whatever you know could affect your soft tissue injuries when you're exercising. So I think in the 49ers this offseason, it's kind of like, oh, we had a scientist come in and study this, but they won't name the scientist. That was fishy. Like, if you're going to have a scientist come in, leak who the scientist is so we can, verify, where they studied at, stuff like that. And yeah, it needs to be, if you're the 49ers ownership, you need to come out with your studies. You need to come out with your results of the studies and take this seriously. If not, you need to move your practice facility. You have the money to do so. And the 49ers practice facility is even good. Kyle Shanahan says he likes having joint practices on the road because other teams have better facilities than we do. And they just need to move. They need to go somewhere else. Like, even if it's not true, just because every time you get injured now, fans are going to say, oh, it's the substation. Like, there's a whole Twitter account called the 49ers substation that just trolls the team right now.
I
So,
I, I didn't know that Kyle Shanahan said that. By the way, that's my first time ever hearing that he likes doing joint practices because he likes other teams' facilities. I think that's hilarious.
yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm not going to lie. It's getting to the point that, like, if the 49ers are practicing here this time next year, I'll be surprised. Because it's just, how can you duck even if they're like the best PR, like, how can you duck that? It's just going to be like a shadow in the back of the season if they
Yeah,
continue to get injured.
I just think it just makes like regardless of the conspiracies or whatnot, whatever they're trying to do right now is making it unsafe for their players. I don't know what the hell can possibly be happening with all these injuries, but if the substation really is a thing, they really have to consider relocating for practice facilities at least, or practice somewhere else. The Bay Area is a huge spot. You can go anywhere
Like,
else in the Bay
you can go
Area.
to the Raiders' old facility. Like, I don't know, bro. You could probably go Stanford. You could probably SJSU probably could come take them. Like,
They can take SJSU. We have new facilities now because of the Super Bowl last year. They can for
yeah,
sure practice on our field. And they got Sky as the athletics guy there. They'll take great care of the Niners, honestly. That could be our pitch right there. We should
yeah.
have Sky hop on the podcast and try to pitch to the 49ers why they should be in the facility next year.
It's ridiculous. I think, yeah. But in other news, the Vikings just named Kyler Murray as a starting quarterback. Um, what do you think of that, and what do you think of that competition overall?
It doesn't surprise me, in my opinion. I wanted to talk a little bit about early fantasy predictions or just in general guys who might break out or might
I
bounce
know
back.
too. I'm high
Kyler
on.
Murray's on my list for me. I'm really excited about it because I think
Mhm.
people forget how good the Vikings were just 2 seasons ago with Sam Darnold under center. And as soon as McCarthy comes in, they still go 9-8, but they weren't terrific in the QB room last year. And I think people were like, well, Kevin O'Connell can make every quarterback great. I still think that he's a fantastic coach to have developed quarterbacks. I just think it shows that JJ McCarthy isn't developed well enough for one thing. And I just don't think that he's a simply good quarterback for the NFL as a second thing. So the fact the Vikings went 9-8 with JJ McCarthy, Carson Wentz, and Max Brosmer under center last year, that gives me a lot of hope that the Vikings are going to take a huge leap forward with Kyler Murray being under center. I know that he's kind of had couple down seasons. He's had his fair share of injuries, so we'll see if that plays a role this season. But Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Jawan Jennings, I'm buying their stock in fantasy this year.
Yep.
That's a fantastic wide receiver
Mhm.
core. And Kyler Murray, his ceiling can be a top 12 quarterback, top 10 maybe sometimes too. So I think that this could be a good resurrection for Murray's career. I hope that it is because I do like Kyler Murray. I was buying his stock a few years ago. I thought he was going to be this great elite level quarterback that we didn't really get to see unless it was with the D-Hop days. So I'm excited about it. I think that the Vikings realized that, hey, we still have a really good team. There's no need to try to develop a quarterback with JJ McCarthy right now. If we have
Mhm.
such a talented offense right now, we don't need to do that. So I'm glad they got Kyler Murray a few months ago, and I'm glad he's going to be the starter because I think that they
Yeah,
really, really need it, especially in a really challenging division this season. The NFC North is going to be a
yeah.
juggernaut. I cannot wait to see that division unravel this year.
Yeah, it's crazy. We didn't even talk about this. I have the Vikings too as one of those teams that Kyler Murray. I was doing a couple mock drafts recently, and he scored like eighth round. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't get one of those top three guys, that's my rule in fantasy. If I don't get Josh Allen, if I don't get Lamar, if I don't, it used to be Patrick Mahomes, but I'll probably stay away from him. But if I don't get one of those three guys, I'm waiting on my quarterback, and he's going to be in that area, that range where you can find a sleeper. And then again, you mentioned it, the offense. That offense is loaded. They still have Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, but you add Jawar Jennings, he could still play a role as a wide receiver three of that offense. And then you still have running backs. You still have T.J. Hawkinson. Like, that offense can do a lot, and not to mention their defense is elite. Um, so I think they could be a top two team in that division. To be honest, I'm not high on the Lions this year. That might be a hot take, but I'm not. I kind of think they peaked,
Yeah, I think so too.
and I think maybe Packers, the Bears for sure will be ahead of them. So that's gonna be one of the better divisions in football. And
Yeah,
I'm high. Are you high on the Cowboys? I know overall. Do you think they
I'm.
last year? Because last year in one of my fantasy leagues, I had Javante Williams, I had George Pickens, and I had CeeDee Lamb all stacked together, and that shit would work every week until the last couple of weeks of the season when the season was over, and they benched everybody. That's why I lost my championship.
I like being as unbiased as possible because they're in the same division as the Eagles. I think the Cowboys should most certainly take a step forward just because I think they upgraded that defense a little bit, but I'm not convinced that they have the best defense in the league. And I also think the NFC East in general is a division under the radar right now that I think is going to be a little bit more competitive than people think they're going to be because I think the Commanders people are not looking at too much right now. I think the Commanders will make a little bit of a bounce back. They're not as strong as they were 2 years ago, but having Daniels back, if he can stay healthy, that offense can be a lot better, especially with the Diggs signing. I think I'm
Yeah.
excited about that
One
for
thing I
the
want to say about
Commanders.
one thing I want to say about Jalen Daniels, I see him as the same like archetype as CJ Stroud. Had a great first
Mhm.
year, second year kind of mid. Then CJ Stroud's third year was abysmal, if you want to be honest. So I feel like this third year is very important for Jalen Daniels.
Yeah, I think that this really determines it. I don't think he's going to be in the same trajectory as CJ just because Daniels' season did get kind of thrown in the
Yeah.
trash because of all those injuries that he had. I think he had like 2 to 3 injuries. That
Mhm.
dislocated elbow was such a nasty and not an easy injury to come back from. So if he can stay healthy, I think that he will have a better career than CJ Stroud from years 3 and 4. And I hope so because I do like Jaden Daniels a lot. But for the Cowboys, I don't know. I think that their offense will always be pretty solid. Dak Prescott will have Dak Prescott moments in both the most positive and negative ways possible. Javante Williams, I'm not the super sold on him just yet. He's a great workhorse running back,
Mm.
but I feel like last season like he wasn't like the flashiest guy. He did resurrect his career just a little
Yeah,
bit
he would just get a
after
touchdown. He would get a
after
touchdown
like the
every game.
Broncos, all those injuries he had. But if Javante's not getting 13, 14 touchdowns this season, I don't know. I'm not super sold on him overall. I think the Cowboys will be a little bit more competitive. Their defense was so awful last year so that I think that it's hard to get worse than that. But at the same time, I think the Eagles are going to bounce back this year. I think the Commanders will have a little bit of a better season. And I think the Giants are really under the radar, too. I love what the Giants are doing right now. If that
Mm.
team can stay healthy, if Malik Neighbors' injury doesn't affect him too much, I think the Giants are a really sneaky dark horse. So I think that the Cowboys can make a push to make the playoffs, but I think there's still a lot of talent and there's a lot of solid teams in that division.
And it's just the NFC overall, to be honest. It's going to be the playoffs. It's going to be like the Hunger Games just to get in.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I can't
is it
wait.
another player or team I'm kind of high on is Amarion Hampton with the Chargers. I
Mm-hmm.
think Mike McDaniel and that offense is just the way he runs the ball, and he's like Devon A Chain on steroids, if you want to say it. Like
Yep.
he's gonna get if McDaniel doesn't go committee, because I saw there was a press conference clip where something like a reporter asked about Amarion Hampton. He was like, "This is a fantasy question, isn't it?" And it was a funny Mike McDaniel moment. He was like, "Well, I can't give you all the details. Every running back's gonna get a chance." Yeah, it was funny. You should see the clip if you haven't seen it.
I don't think I've seen it yet, but it's funny you say that. I'm going super high on Warren Hampton stock. He's going to the moon this year. Because he was doing amazing before he got hurt last season. And I was in the Marion Hampton fantasy owner with like 2 to 3 teams. And as soon as he went down against the Commanders, I think it was like week 6 or week 7, it like my season just went to ashes from that point
Yeah.
on. And like I agree. I think the Mike McDaniel signing is phenomenal. I don't think the Chargers are going to be like this elite team just because it happens every year with the Chargers, and it's just like the same pattern over and over again. But I do think the offense can look much better because this is the best offensive-minded coach they've had in years.
And if the
So I
offensive
like,
line can finally stay healthy for Justin
yep.
Herbert, the running
So
game
I
will
like
be
Hampton. I like his stock. I think McConkey is a little bit overvalued because
Mhm.
of the sophomore slump he had last season. That I'm not super sold on him being a third round value guy, but I think that he will have a bounce back season. I mean, Keenan Allen's retired, right? I'm pretty sure he's not on the Chargers anymore. I
Yeah,
actually don't
I
know.
think he's pretty much retired. I don't know. I don't think he's on a team, and I think
Yeah.
it's pretty late in the offseason to.
So I think McConkey has more opportunities. I forgot David Njoku's a Charger now. I
Yeah, I
think
do
that's
see
a
that.
really sneaky fantasy pick because
Mhm.
Njoku is really good, and now he's on a better offense. So I think that could be really, really interesting. But yeah, I'm super high in Hampton. Another guy that I'm high on, I'm gonna do a little bit more research on. I like Michael Wilson a lot. I think
Mhm.
Michael Wilson's being a little under the
Yes.
radar as well right now because
I
Marvin
was
Harrison Jr.
I was a big Marvin Harrison Jr. guy coming out, and then
Me too.
I don't know. I feel like somebody in that the Cardinals office somewhere, ruined his confidence, and I feel like he still has all the talent in the world. It's just he lost his confidence. That happens to athletes all the time.
Yeah, I just think last year I was maybe a little bit. I wasn't taking Harrison Jr. in any drafts, but I was expecting that if it's any time for him to step up, it was going to be last season. Didn't work out for him, unfortunately, and I think I don't know. He's still really, really young, but I'm starting to fade away on Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah,
And when Brissett came in under center, Michael Wilson got fed, and I think Carson Beck will have a serious
yeah,
chance to be the starting QB week 1, possibly after the Hall of Fame game that he had against Carolina. But regardless of who's under center, I think Michael Wilson is a really underrated wide receiver point blank. And I think people have seriously forgotten how elite of a receiver he was in the second half of last season. I think he's
Mhm.
going round 8, round 9 ADP. And so if you can snag him late in your draft, he can be a wide receiver too for you in the
Yeah.
long haul. I know the
Or even,
Cardinals are not the flashiest team, but if they can have Brissett or Carson Beck be a decently good starting quarterback, I think the Cardinals will be a little bit better than people think they are. People say they're going to go 0-17 and whatnot. They still have some pretty solid
yes,
talent on that team. I don't think they're going to be 0-17. That offense might put up some fireworks.
and Jeremiah Love on that offense too. So it's not like they're working with nothing like the last couple of years that has been for them. I in the NFC West, I expect them to maybe win 5 or 6 games. Win a divisional game that messes things up in the division. So yeah, I'm kind of high on the Cardinals. I kind of want to wait and see for them. Their defense still has a lot of holes, but offensively, they have enough weapons to get by.
Yeah, I think if it's really early to say, and I'm not going to get too high on Carson Beck, because I thought he wasn't going to pan out to be anything special in the NFL. But if he can play as confidently as he did last week, I've been seeing clips of him in training camp and these practices. If they can have Carson Beck be a steady starter, that's a steal for the Cardinals. And that's also a really important move for them in the future, is because that's such a good direction for him to head to. Where if they are a bottom 5, bottom 6 team in the NFL this season, which I think is a very good chance that happens, you don't have to worry too much at aiming for a starting or franchise quarterback and a top 5, top 7 draft pick. So I really think that can expand their horizons like crazy. I think that just makes them go to a great direction in the future. And they have Trey McBride, who I think is the best tight end in the NFL right now. So I really think that the Cardinals are being super underlooked right now. They're not going to be a playoff contender. They're not going to be a top 3 team in the NFC West. They're going to get pounded in that division, but I think that they'll be more impressive than people indicate that they are. So I'll be
Pounded,
really excited to see them.
pounded competitively.
Yeah. um, I think I want to move back towards the Bay Area sports world a little bit. We talked a little bit about the Giants trade deadline, or did I put that in? Or I'll
No,
talk about
we
no.
can
Okay.
go Giants trade deadline first and mix it.
Yeah, it'll be quick and brief. It kind of ties slightly, but the Giants, they sold trade deadline. It was going to happen. I'm not shocked about it. Robbie Ray, Luis Arias is a Philly now. Rays is Padre. Eric Miller gets traded to the Red Sox. We got back Michael Mayer, who was a former top 12 MLB prospect just a season ago, which is a great move for the Giants. And it's been such a poor season for them overall. It's been sad to watch. But I think you got to give credit to where it's been given for Buster Posey and that front office. They were going to sell in the trade deadline, and they got some really, really good value, especially for Arias. They got a really solid pitching prospect from the Phillies, and people seem to forget that Arias is on a very cheap deal with the Giants.
Yes.
He wasn't getting paid much money. His contract expires next season, and for all we know, which I don't think will happen, he can sign back with the Giants again. Because I think Arias was really happy to be in the Bay Area, and I don't think this was a move that he wanted, but he deserves to be on a contending team, and he's been thriving with the Phillies. So it's a little bit tough to see just because just a year ago, this team had a lot of promise and hope. But I like that there's a direction with this team now. I felt like for most of the season, there was no vision on where the Giants were going to head to. They had a good team.
Mhm.
Hey, maybe we can be a wild card seed. We have all these talented players. We're paying a lot of money for them, but we just could not find a curve that can take us to the right direction. So I'm glad that they finally just decided to throw in the towel, give up, get some prospects. Only time will tell if these guys pan out to be anything special with the Giants. I don't have a lot of faith in our farm system, but we've been able to develop some good offensive bats. Look at Bryce Eldridge this year. He's had a really, really good season in his first full year as a Giant. So I'm excited to see what Michael Mayer can do. I know he's had kind of a down season, but he's extremely young too, and I think that people are writing him off too quickly. So I'm excited to see what he can do with the Eldridge pairing and Jung Hoo Lee as well.
Yeah. To be honest, I know how you said there's a direction with this team. I don't think there's a direction until those three guys, figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Devers, Adames, Chapman.
Yeah.
Chapman's out for the season. Hopefully he could pick it up because I think he was the worst of the three.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and when you have those three guys on your payroll, it kind of just unless your owner wants to spend more money. If he wants to spend more money, it doesn't matter. But it kind of just messes in for so long because nobody at the deadline, nobody wanted to trade for them. I'm sure. I know
Mm-hmm.
Chapman and Thomas had no trade clauses, but I'm sure if you send them to a good spot, they'll be willing to go with the way this season has gone for the Giants. And then again, the prospects will be good for just the future. But with the Giants, I'm thinking the way this team's set up, the veterans that they have, they're in win now mode. I think
Mm-hmm.
this offseason they need to get a couple more pitchers because I think that was the biggest weak point. Because I think that was the biggest weak point this season, to be honest. I think they would get leads in games or they would be close in games, and then the reliever would come in, the closer would come in, and then game would be over. And then they have a Tony Vitello issue, but I don't know if we really want to address it until the season's over because they're gonna have to make that decision if you want to keep him and see if he gets some learning growth, or if you kind of want to.
Sorry, technical difficulties. I'm gonna maybe cut a little bit short and move to the next segment because I think I have to leave soon. I'm actually going to a Giants game tonight, which is why I got the hat on. Just copped it. Tickets are $3, by the way, if you're an SJSU student. make a My MLB account with your San Jose State email because Giants tickets are butt cheap for the rest of the season. But I agree. I think the Devers contract is not going to be movable. It's going to be hard to ship him away. Chapman, his contract's expensive. I think that his time as a Giant is starting to dissolve and fade away, which is fine. He's an aging player, and he had a really down
I'm a former,
season.
yep, I'm a former A's fan. So I love Matt Chapman. So it sucks to see him just kind of his development kind of just plummet down.
Yeah. We'll go to the last segment here. This is a big one, but it might be cut short, unfortunately. Huge shakeup in Bay Area broadcasts. I mean, I wrote a piece last week talking about how being a sports fan and nostalgia can really blind you. It's hard to deal with sometimes. The Bay Area got hit like a rock last week. First of all, KMBR announces that they've released Greg Papa, which Papa's been battling a lot of
Yep.
stuff health-wise recently, so he hasn't been in booth as much. But man, when I read that news, that is probably one of the most disrespectful things I've seen in Bay Area sports in such a long time, because Greg Papa's been the voice of the Bay Area for 3+ decades or so. We, even as a non-Niners or Raiders fan, I know the significance and the impact that Greg Papa has on Bay Area sports. And when he's at such a hard point in his life, and who knows if he can come back to the booth, which is really sad to say, and you let go of him, like it's just such a bad look on KMBR.
And then they release a PR statement. It's kind of like the PR statement, like did it like 4 or 5 days after they announced it. Like if you're doing that, you gotta hop on that sooner. Like you're just gonna get more hate once you know. And then it's like Greg Papa. I talked to him. He came to Cam's class, Cam Inman's class. He teaches a class at San Jose State that I was in, and he talked to us. And he was still kind of recovering from his sickness, but you can tell he still had the iconic voice, and you could still tell like the character of him. He still seemed like a nice guy just from like the time I asked him a couple questions, and that's what sucks about it is he didn't give him the opportunity to close the chapter on his terms, and he's done so much for not only your company but for Bay Area sports viewers. It seems like a decision that shouldn't be up to a company. It should be up to him and the viewers, because we still I would love to hear Greg Papa one more time, because towards the end of last season he was trying to make a comeback to call one of the last 49ers games, and they didn't even give him the opportunity, which sucked.
Yeah, I had an inside source who is slightly tied to KMBR, and I had talked to him about it when I posted a little story just saying how this is such a disrespectful move. He had said that he had gotten an email about it, and it wasn't like an official release statement of Greg Papa when it happened. So I was like, okay, maybe that this is just a misleading headline that people are maybe thinking too much for. And then as soon as they released that statement just a few days ago, I just think it's just awful PR. It's just for KMBR, who's been again, the sports leader of the Bay Area. Greg Papa is your guy for so long. And this is a treatment that you give him back. It just doesn't sit right with me. And I think that KMBR might.
Low-key, I think they might be falling off a little bit because
they are.
Because a lot of their hosts, like Larry Krueger, like other guys, the one guy that was on the Warriors that has his own show now.
Was it Greg Silver? Greg Silver got released too, which I was from the
pub. All of their good shows were they got taken away or they left, and that to me is something fishy about the company. If all like your key name marquee guys are leaving, I was a 95.7 the game guy anyway, so I don't really care. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's something fishy going on over there. It's budget cuts. I don't know.
It's weird too because I don't know if you saw, but there's a report that's been saying that the relationship with KMBR and the San Francisco Giants has not been great. Now, do I think that's KMBR's fault? Not necessarily. I just think that maybe the front office doesn't want guys to join the show when they're been performing as poorly as they have, and I think that maybe they don't want to be grilled for it. But that's been really interesting too.
I think it was when Buster Posey, before he came on, they were caught on the hot mic like saying that was a shit interview. I'm not
Mhm.
confirming that. I think I've heard something that was, and then he like confronting them about it, like after it happened. But I'm not confirming that happened. I just heard that happened. But anyways, I more support 95.7 the game, but they have the rights for the Giants, and they have the rights for the 49ers. And
Yep.
95.7 only has the rights for the Warriors, so, and the Valkyrie, I think, which
Yeah,
is
I think
interesting. And
there's a
I don't know when their
report.
contract's over, but
There's a report tied. I remember it was an anonymous source, but someone that was tied with KNBR and the Giants said that whenever it's like there's an anniversary coming up for the Giants franchise. I forget what year it is, but they said that they wouldn't be surprised if that's the last time KNBR is tied with the Giants, and I would not be surprised if
yeah,
95.7 is the next step ahead, which wouldn't surprise me. I'd be all in on it because I think 95.7 has been fantastic, and they've been thriving as of late. So it's just it's really really weird.
yeah. One of
Let's see.
this is what I was talking about. One of the broadcasters was on his show, and he said Posey sucks, man, thinking Posey couldn't hear him, and he heard him and kind of confronted him after.
Yeah,
So that's where the state of the company is at. It's very unprofessional.
yeah, and that's it's just been a weird time. To close it out, I just want to give a shout out to Mike Krukow, man. That there's
Yeah,
been there's been a couple of sports news that would happen when guys are stepping down and retiring. And as a Giants fan, the one that hit the most was when Buster Posey retired. This one was right up there, if not
yeah,
more, when Krukow stepped down. Because if you're not from the Bay Area, I don't think people tend to understand
mm,
how impactful Krukow and Kuiper are as a broadcasting duo to the entire city and the Giants fans, and
Bay
especially for Mike
Area.
Krukow. Mike Krukow is the most loyal San Francisco Giant
Mm-hmm.
ever, in my opinion. Played most of his career down there. He spent 36 years in the booth with the Giants, and he's been having some issues health wise the last couple of years. I knew this time was going to come, but it was still so unexpected when the news broke down. But I just want to give props and credit and shout out to him because he is the voice of Giants baseball along with Dwayne Kuiper, and we've been so spoiled to have them in the booth for the
Yeah,
longest time possible. And all good things have to come to an end. It's just sad that it has to be this season. And
yeah.
then I
Not
don't know who's
and
going to take over his position, but it's
yeah,
just sad.
yeah. I kind of felt the same way when I'm not a Giants fan, but the voice of just watching Giants games is so iconic. It kind of reminded me when Jim Barnett retired, and
Mm-hmm. Yep.
it, he like they were probably doing it for like around the same time, and it's like as a Warriors fan, it's that pain. Like I remember, like it's hard to get used to somebody calling the game that isn't that person. Like it takes you a
Mm-hmm.
while to get used to their voice, and whoever is going to take that job next, it's just going to be so much harder for them. Just with trying to replace an icon, like a
Mm-hmm.
Bay Area icon.
Yeah,
It's so hard for them.
exactly. Yeah, I just want to give that quickly. I sadly have to. There's still so much that we can talk about this later on, but I do have to go because I have to
Yeah.
take Bart to San Francisco. But
Let's,
I just want to give a quick shout out to Kruko, man.
yep.
Just
Should get a
complete
shout out to
legend.
Don Nelson too.
Oh yeah, rest in peace to Coach Nelson, man. It's just what a sad time for the
Yeah,
Bay
I'm
Area,
telling you,
man.
the last week for Bay Area sports has not been good. It's just
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's been rough, but hopefully there are better days ahead.
yeah,
But the golden generation's over, and now
yeah.
it's down to the next transition.
I think we are in the transition period, and we will see the HQ next week. Don't forget to just subscribe, and we will be posting more regularly, right, Lucas?
I'll do my best. I would
Yeah.
like to have again, if someone wants to edit for the HQ podcast, send us a message
Yes.
because
Send
I
us
would sure as hell love to have that.
because we need to work on some more pushing some more social media and get
Yeah.
some more clips out. So
Mm-hmm.
reach out to us.
Yep. Yep.
Don't
I think
forget to
that's.
subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe. Follow the HQ Sportscast on all platforms, and we will see you guys next week.
All righty.